Hey, what's going on, everybody? I got another discussion I want to talk about here, and it's buying back the video games you sold as a kid. Get into it real quick. So, I've been gaming since like the late 80s when I was born, and mainly through the early 90s and all the way to today. So, I grew up with the NES, Super NES, N64, the Sega Genesis I had a Game Boy Color, and I skipped the GameCube and I went into PC gaming. But then I got back onto like the original Xbox when Halo came out, and then from all the way up to now, right? I had all the consoles, all that. Now that I'm an adult, I can buy whatever I want. But when I was a kid, I couldn't do that. I had to find a way to go buy the new games, and so like many of us, I would take my games that I didn't think I was playing anymore, and I'd trade them in. Right? I'd go to GameStop, and I didn't really understand what I was doing, and my parents didn't really care because they didn't want to buy me the new game, but they were fine with me getting a new game. I guess they were unaware. I would say they didn't care. They were just unaware of what I was really doing, even though they took me to the GameStop, or back in the day, the Funko Land. And I wouldn't say that the GameStop or the Funko Land at the time was taking advantage of us. However, that's business, right? They're getting a game for a decent price, and I'm turning around and spending that exact same money there to get more money. So the whole point of this video, the whole thought process here is everything that I had, and it's just gone. Luckily, I didn't sell any of my consoles. I have all of my original consoles. I don't know, I had a little bit of a brain, I guess, in the sense that I didn't sell like my original NES or Super NES. I still have it all. I still got the original stickers on it that I put on it as a kid, which I need to clean up and make it original. I got the yellowing going on my Super Nintendo. So one day I'll do that UV light thing. All right, so getting back on topic, just gonna start talking about the N64. I used to have all the Zeldas, the gold cart too. I'm pretty sure I had the gold cart Ocarina. Now I don't. And then I know I had the Donkey Kong 64, and obviously I had Mario, but I had all these different games, and the only ones that I kept that I still have are my GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and Rush. Everything else I had to go out and rebuy. And that kind of gets me to my next point, rebuying your old stuff. So obviously prices have gone way up, and since COVID, I guess since people were shut in, and people got back into retro gaming because they couldn't go out, so prices have now skyrocketed because people could just sit there on eBay and all these other retro gaming sites and just buy up products. And people my age, in my mid-30s, I have money. I'm not rich, but I have a decent income where I can spend a couple $100 a month on video games and be fine. And so that's kind of driving the price of these video games that I traded in for pennies on the dollar back in the 2000s, the late 90s, and now I'm buying them back. So the whole reason that got me thinking about making this video is, well, I spent a decent amount of money here recently on buying Majora's Mask, and I just bought The Legend of Zelda: The Four Swords on GameCube. That's not a game I had back in the past, but I saw it for a decent price, and well, I kind of accidentally bought it. Like, the game is worth 70 loose, and I put a bid for 45, and I won it at 43. That's just how, I don't know. I wasn't expecting to win that game, but I did, and it actually comes in the mail today, so I'm looking forward to that. However, getting back on different games that I bought, or I had, and I sold as a kid. I didn't give away to any friends or sell it to friends. I sold it to, like I said, Funko Land and GameStop, and just didn't get what it was worth. And so now I'm going through and buying those old games. It's a huge nostalgia blast, and I'm honestly enjoying it. I'm kind of upset I don't have my original copies, but obviously I have to be okay with it. I have to like get past that. But it's really neat going out and finding the best condition copy for the game I had. Now the Ocarina of Time cart I have now is immaculate. And I think mine would have been pretty immaculate. I have this weird thing with video games, even had it as a kid and growing up. My room could be a disaster, but my video games need to be pristine. It's weird. Though the Retro Bird put it into a video, and it caught me off guard. It made sense. Like, people's houses can be destroyed, but you can go ahead and bet that their video games are in line and like pristine. I don't know what it is, but people really do take care of their video games. Well, I'd say people, myself, I always did, And to this day, like if I find that one of my kids used one of my disc video games and they didn't put it back in the right case, in the right position, like say it's a 2-disc game and they didn't put it back in the slot that I like it in, like it bothers me. So I have to put everything back exactly where it is. And when people take games and put it on those disc organizers, or like those, if you remember those, you would buy blank CDs back in the day, and you for like to burn CDs when you have like, it's like a circle with like a stem on top. I'll put a picture of it on here. And people put their disc games on that. I get so bothered. And also Steve Fernotz did it. We had a long work trip and he brought that with, and it saves room, but it just it bothers me so bad. I brought all of my games in their respective cases, and and that's just how I have to be. I have to have everything in a certain way when it comes to my game collection. That's all right. So let's get back to the topic. So the whole point of this was I'm buying back my old games. So I'm having a really fun time going on eBay, going to local stores. Like where I live, I have 3 game exchanges that I frequently go to, one more than most, but I will go through and I will find my old games. Like for instance, 2 weeks ago, I went into a game exchange I go to probably once every 2 or 3 months. I rolled in there and I was looking for Majora's Mask, and sure enough, boom, bingo, they had a Majora's Mask. That's why I'm playing it now. And well, it's the N64 cart. I would have preferred the GameCube Collector's Edition. However, that's worth a lot more. Anyway, so I got the cart, and it was really neat to be looking at it again at a store and be able to purchase it and bring it home. But it's kind of like the last 2 years I've been on this crusade to buy the games I never finished as a kid. Never was, like I skipped, like I said, I skipped over the GameCube. So I'm buying all the Zeldas on GameCube. I'm on a big Zelda kick. Again, I don't know why. It's just something I never like I had the patience to do as a kid, and now I'm trying to learn how to have patience and get through these Zelda games. But now, like I also said too, now I don't have the time, but I do have a little bit of extra cash that I can buy these games and whatnot. And I'm not really buying them for them to hold the value per se, but I'm kind of buying them just for my collection. I don't really know how to put it. It's like I have Twilight Princess on Wii. I actually got that for Christmas last year because my younger brother isn't in the video gaming anymore, and he had a decent Wii collection, and so he sent me over a handful of games. Just pristine. I've never seen these games preserved so well, and one of those games was Twilight Princess. He also had Mario Galaxy and Metroid Prime 3, right? And Donkey Kong Country Returns. Or no, I got that from DK Oldies, from that other video I did. Anyways, I got a whole bunch of really nice complete inbox Wii games for my brother. And where was I going with this? Oh, so I already had Twilight Princess, but I wanted the GameCube version because everyone always says the best way to experience Twilight Princess is on GameCube. But I found it at a game exchange along with Ocarina of Time and Ocarina of Time Master Quest on a GameCube. So they were both sitting side by side, and so I bought both of them. I saw it 1 week, and then a week later I went back and bought it. So I'm having a blast and having a really fun nostalgic kick going on eBay and buying up old games as a kid that I had as a kid, and games that I wasn't able to buy when I was a kid. So there were a ton of games that, you know, when you're in 5th and 6th grade, you don't have money to go out and buy this stuff, but your friends have it, and so you get to play like a game with your friends. I was like, for instance, Banjo-Tooie. I never had Banjo-Tooie, so I'd watch him play, and I'd play a little bit, but never enough to like really get into that game myself. That was like his game, and it's just easier if I watched him. So I never had a chance to play those games, and again, by the time I turned 16, I think I was on to the Xbox, right? And I was playing Halo 2. Actually, yeah, I remember that very vividly. My 16th birthday, that's what I was doing. Getting that Halo on. So I wasn't really thinking about playing Banjo-Tooie anymore. I moved forward. So now that I'm in my mid-30s and I've played a ton of Halo, about 20 years worth of Halo, now I can kind of look back and think about what games that I didn't get to play as a kid, and I get to rebuy all these games now. And it's sad that I don't have my original game, my original cart, but it's also fun to go buy those games again. So moral of the story is, don't sell your games. If you're young, and you're watching this video and you need to find money, go cut somebody's lawn. Go do some extra chores around the house. Don't take the easy way out and just sell those games you have now. Because one day, you're gonna want those carts. You're gonna want those games. Not necessarily the game, but you're gonna want the original cart that you had as a kid. And you can look back on it and remember all those fun times, and there might be a little nick or a scratch on it, and you can remember how that happened and why you got upset about that time, that whatever that happened. Or you go back in the save files. Like, I have the original version, or my original version of Donkey Kong Country 3. Actually, really is my younger brother's, the same brother that gave me those other Wii games. And he's got a save file on there with his name and one of his old childhood friends' names. And I remember I booted it up a couple years ago. I saw those two names on there. I'm surprised the battery didn't die in the cart. But I took a picture of it and I shot it to him. I'm like, hey, you remember this? And he goes, oh yeah. So he got a quick kick, or a quick nostalgia kick, about him playing that game back in the day. So again, if you're thinking about selling games, don't do it. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, share it. You know, on my way to 500 subscribers. And I hope y'all enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one.